Good evening, Stitchy friends. It's Dee back with my March update. Today is March 31st. It's the evening. My kids are out and my youngest is just down in the basement. But yeah, I had the opportunity to record this evening, so I thought that I would jump on the chance. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you see and subscribe and continue to join me for future episodes. And if you are a continued viewer and you've been with me for the long haul, thank you so much for sticking with me through the entire journey of my flosstube adventures. So I'm just going to start and jump right in. I did a lot of stitching this month. I continue to participate in the magazine monthly challenge group, and their theme this month was needlework shop. And if you remember last month, I told you that I was going to start a new stitch for this theme, and I did. I started it and I finished it. It took me 3 days to complete this stitch. So I'm just going to show that to you right now. This is called the Vehicle Stops, or the Car Stops, I think, and it's from Waxing Moon Designs. I used my own threads. These are Mo's silks. I bought them a long time ago when I was collecting threads. And this is what it is. Looks like my version. It says, warning, this vehicle stops at all needlework shops. So that was the theme for March. Now, the acrostic had 2 of them, which is why I did so much stitching this month. The acrostic was Etsy, so E-T-S-Y, and or. If you wanted to, you could do one or you could do both. I did both. The other one is charge it. So I will start with E, and for E I did Eastern Beauty. Let me just get that one up and I will show that to you right now. Okay, so this is Eastern Beauty. As you can see, I stitched up some eyes so now she can see me. What did I do this month? I think I did some black up to here. Like this is all going to be black, I think. Yep, 310. So that's all going to be 310 filled in. But I got sick of stitching all black and I counted over and I stitched her eyes. Aren't those beautiful eyes? So that is Eastern Beauty. I stitched on her for 2 days. So that's my goal for these acrostics, is to stitch on each piece for 2 days. And so this is 2 days worth of stitching. Okay, so my T for Etsy is Valley of the Trolls, and that's by Stitching Moon Designs. She is a floss tuber. And she lives, she's an American and she lives in Norway. And she takes pictures and then she puts them into cross stitch. So what I am doing is I am currently just trying to color complete. So right now I'm working on DMC5. It's not too great of a color. It's kind of just bland. But let's see if I can get this. I stitched, if you hear scratching, that's my dog. I have to go let him in. He's scratching to come in. So I did all that. It's kind of hard to see. Last month I was at 3.25, and this month I made it to 3.64. So it's only 2 days worth of stitching. I got about 1,000 stitches. That's what I did here. It doesn't look like very much, but it is. It's on 22 count. Is it 22 count? Yeah, I think it's 22 count. And so that's what I did for my Valley of the Trolls. My S for Etsy is Seahorse, and that was my new start last month in February, and that was the beach theme. I started Seahorse by Heaven and Earth Design. All of the completed pictures I will put up in the corner here for you all to know what it's going to look like in the end when I eventually do finish these pieces. So this is Seahorse. Right now I am working on thread 762. I am trying to color complete this one because there's only, I think, 19 colors in this design. I think it's 19. Not very many anyway. And let's see if I can find, yes. Okay. So this, I think I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys that way because I think you will get a better view of, what I've been doing. So let me just turn the camera around. So this is what I have done so far. You can see this is the ear, and then this is another ear, and then this is going to be a part of its mane. This is part of the shading in the horse, and then this here is going to be water splashing up. You'll have a picture over here to compare to what it's going to look like, and I did all down here. On this piece, I only worked on it for 2 days, and so that's about another 1,000 stitches. The most I can get is about 500 a day. I don't really have a lot of stitching time, but yeah, so that is Seahorse. Okay, the Y for Etsy is Peacock Mystery Sal, and that was my 2019 mystery sal from Linen Threads, which is now called Fox and Rabbit. I managed to do 2 blocks on this piece. So this is what it looks like now. I will give you a close-up of each. And then there, I forget which one of these corner ones I did, but I did this one. And then that one. And then this one. And I know it doesn't come out, but the peacock is very sparkly. I wish it would come out for you guys, but it doesn't. But it is a very sparkly peacock. And then my white and black squirrels down here. So I just have this one to do. And then there's another border with butterflies going around it. And then it will be done. So in the next, I would say, month or 2, this one is going to be complete. When I say it's about time, it's from 2019. So 2023, right? Yeah. So that is the completion for Etsy. The next acrostic was Charge It. So for the C, I put in Cliffside Tile Sal. This is a new start that I had at the beginning of the year. I had found out about this tile sal maybe in November or December, and I decided that yes, I was going to do this as a start. And I did 2 blocks this month. So let me just get this sorted here. I did this block and this block this month, and then I did the border all the way over. So this is the last block, and it's going to go down. So there's going to be one more block, and then it's going to go down. It's going to go downwards. So this is stitched on 18 count fabric. You know, the fabric you get at Michael's. And I'm really enjoying it. It's a fast stitch. If you have a lot of time, you could probably get one of these squares done in a day. So it doesn't take too much time at all. And I really like how it's turning out. The H4 Charge It is Howling. That is my main focus piece. That's the one that I try to stitch on the most. Oh, I need to put this back with my, you can go over there. Howling. So last month it was at 39.02%. I am now at 41.39%. And I managed to stitch on it for 20 days. And if I stitch on it tonight, which I do plan on doing because it's only it's not even 8:30 yet, it's 8:23 if you want to know the exact time. So I still have time to stitch this evening, so I do plan on stitching on it. So that would be 21 days out of 31 days, so I only missed 10 days this month from Howling. So this is what it looks like now. I worked on this side. I worked on this side here. So I was trying to fill in some of these mountains here. And then I decided to go and do the 310, all of the 310, because that was like block stitching. There was lots of chunks of block stitching, which meant I could do it faster, right? And now I'm just filling it in with some green. Yeah, I am enjoying this, but it's not a race. It takes time. And I'm just enjoying the process. So that's what stitching is all about. So that's okay. So the next project is A, and that is Family. That is my Stitcherovia or Emma Congdon piece that I am stitching. I will just get that for you. Okay, I thought I would show you the box that I have it in. I keep it in this stitchy box. It's a chocolate box. I keep a lot of my projects in fancy chocolate boxes. So like this is the Peacock Band sampler. And this is Whitman's. You can see that it's cross stitch. It's an old chocolate box. Anyway, that's what I keep it in. And I stitched on this for 2 days. Yes, like everything else I've been stitching on. The only thing I stitched, Mystery Style, pardon me. I missed Mystery Style. Mystery Style, I did stitch on that for 5 days, which is why I got the 2 blocks done. And Cliffside, I stitched on it for 4 days, which is why I did the 2 blocks and the border. And Family, I am back to 2 days. This is on 22 count fabric. And I managed to, what did I do? Oh, all I stitched was this. Ones. I think. Yeah, that's all I stitched is the word ones. And that took me 2 days, believe it or not. I must have been stitching on something else that day. Oh, yes, because I stitched on this on a Sunday. And on Sunday, it's my ABC 101 alphabet. And so in the morning, I stitch on this. And then after 4 o'clock, then I stitch on the 101 alphabet. So that is Family. I'm not going to show you the R. The R is Running Horses. That's one of my Chinese kits. I did stitch on it for 2 days, but it was not very much stitching, and it's really hard to show you because it's printed canvas, and it's really hard. You wouldn't be able to tell anyway what I did. So I'm not going to show that one to you this time. For the G for charge it, I stitched on cleaning the house. That was a new start when? I think in January. I think I started cleaning the house in January. So I will go and get that piece for you. Okay, so this is the design. Cleaning the house while the children are growing is like shoveling snow while it's snowing. True story. So I'm stitching this with Mo's silk again, picking my own colors, and I'm stitching it on a piece of 28 count. It's 2/2, and this is what I have done. I think I just stitched while the children are growing. And yes, that took me 2 days, because when I stitch on these little pieces, I'm stitching on them alongside with something else like howling. And what I do is I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and sometimes I exercise in the morning, and then after I'm done that, then I will come and I will cross stitch for an hour, 45 minutes. Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's 45 minutes before I get the children up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that's not a lot of stitching time, but it's something, right? And then in the evening, I stitch on my howling for like 100, between 100 and 200 stitches. And that's just the way it goes on a work day, because sometimes I'm really tired from dealing with kids all day. So that's what I did for cleaning the house. I hope to finish that soon. It's going to be in my plans for next month, which is starting tomorrow. But the E for charge it is European Town. Now this is another, I'm going to show you this because I did more stitching on this than I did on the running horses. I'd stitch on this for 2 days. I'm just going to get that out for you. So this is the European Town. This is what, sorry, it's really glossy, sorry. This is what it's going to look like in the end. It's huge. And what I worked on right here is I worked on this corner right here. So this is like a pathway, the road, and I worked on all this over here. I do enjoy the thread that comes with it. It's nice and thick and fluffy. It must be like CXC or something. It's not DMC, that's for sure. But it's nice and thick and fluffy, and I like that. It has better coverage. Oh, it's pandemic. All right, so I stitched on this for 2 days as well. This is what I have done for pandemic. I think I stitched down here. I think this is what I was working on. This is done on 28 count, 1/1 with Silk for You silks. I have a hank of this color. It's beautiful blue. It's not coming up right in the, there is the right color there. It's like a turquoise. It's not a dark blue like it's coming up. It's more like that color right there. But yes, it's a Silk for You hank that I got a long time ago when I finally decided to start this when I got COVID last year. Yeah, I think its anniversary is coming up. No, I don't remember when I started, but I started when I had COVID last year. So that is pandemic. And the last one I already showed you. It is the T for this vehicle stops, which was this one. So that is that for Charge It. The only other two that I did that are not on these acrostic is the Double Dutch Sampler and 101 Alphabet. I made a great progress. I made great progress on my 101 Alphabet. I got across the second row, and each row has, I think, 15 pages. Let me double check that. So this is the 101 Alphabet from Rosewood Manor. It is a monster. It is a beast. It is a blanket. It is huge. It's not meant for the weak at heart. I mean, it's crazy. But I completed the second row. Oh, and each row doesn't have 15 pages. What am I talking about? It has 9 pages. So I have completed 18 pages. And its anniversary just came up this week. Monday was its 1-year anniversary. So I'm happy to say that I managed to complete 18 pages in 1 year, only stitching on it on Sundays. And I even missed some Sundays because there were some Sundays where I just too tired or too busy or whatever. So I didn't stitch on it every Sunday. So I'm quite happy with that progress. And there are 4 more rows left to do. It's a 54 page project, and I have 4 more rows. So I'm gonna say 2 more years I'm gonna have this project. I think I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to show it to you like this because you don't get a good view of, well, you can see the whole row is done, but I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can get a better view of the piece. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so here is the whole piece. I'm going to start in this corner, which was done a whole year ago. And work my way down. There are no specialty stitches in this piece. It is all just cross stitch and back stitching. So this right here, that was a nightmare to stitch. That was like confetti. Crazy. This guy doesn't have his hind legs yet. He's at the bottom. And there we go. That is 18 pages completed. All right, so my last piece for the month is Double Dutch Sampler. I got this magazine from the magazine, The Gift of Stitching. I just printed it out, but this is what it's going to look like when it is all complete. It is from Sampler Cove Designs. It is in issue 7, if you're interested and you have The Gift of Stitching. It is in issue 17 on page 10, if you have The Gift of Stitching and you like this piece. I managed to stitch on this for 4 days and stay. And this is what I completed. I completed just 1 row of the alphabet. It took me a lot longer to stitch than I thought. I thought, oh yeah, I could just whip up this alphabet in a couple of days and lickety split. But nope, it is more complicated than that. These, let me get up nice and close for you guys. These back stitching things took longer. The back stitching around the alphabet, it took a lot longer than I thought. Because I do, what's it called? The running stitch, where you stitch, and then you miss a stitch so that your thread lasts longer, then you go back and you fill in the blanks. Is it called a running stitch? Can somebody comment down below and see if I'm right? I am using Gloriana silk for this. I used one thread of Gloriana silk. Well, I'm using one thread, period. It's one thread over two for both the cross stitching and the back stitching. And that's how it's turning out. I like it so far. It's very enjoyable. And I look forward to getting back to it next month. So, let me just talk to you. I am now, that's all of the stitching that I did for this month. That was a lot of projects. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 projects that I stitched on this month. And one of them being a start and a finish. So I'm doing pretty good with my stitchy bug, huh? I think so. I am now on spring break. Today was my last day of work. So starting tomorrow, I start my spring break. So I have 10 days off now. We go back on Tuesday, the 11th of April. So I have the next 10 days to, we're not going anywhere. My husband will be working. He goes back to work on, today is Friday. My husband he works shift work and he goes back to work on Tuesday. So we won't be going anywhere. So I'll just be here stitching. Stitching and exercising. That's what I do. Stitch and exercise. And I hope to get a lot of progress done. What was I going to say? I forget. I remember. So my plans, we're not going to go into my plans. My plans for next month, I have some very exciting things happening next month. Not only is the beginning going to be spring break, but the end of the month, I am going to Stitch North. I will be there and I will be joining some longtime stitchy friends that I have only been talking to online, and I get to finally meet them in person in April, and I'm so excited. I have one friend coming from Australia. I have one friend that is coming from Newfoundland, and I have another friend who's coming from Arizona. And I've been talking to these ladies for several years now because we've all been a part of the flosstube community for several years now, and I'm just so excited to meet them, and several other people who will be there that I have not met. I'm really excited to meet new people too. So it is in Brampton, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto, for those of you who don't know. I will be flying there. It's a 5-hour flight from Edmonton, and I am looking forward to that. I don't know what I'm going to be taking. I think I'm going to be taking the Peacock band sampler to work on that, to get that finished as soon as possible. I think I'm going to be taking cleaning the house. I want to take easy projects that I can work on and not be too consumed, because a big part of retreats is visiting, and I don't want to be so into I don't want to like take howling and be so into my pattern that I can't hold a conversation. So I think I'm going to be taking those two, and they're small enough that I can fit them into my carry-on luggage, which is all I'm going to be taking. I have to figure out what else I'm going to take, but I will let you guys know in my next video what I'm going to be taking. I will share it with you now. The April
monthly challenge. The theme for April is library, and so I decided that I'm going to have yet another new start. Yes, another new start. And this is a project that I've had since I discovered it maybe a year ago. It is Alice in Wonderland it's the free pattern of Alice in Wonderland from Owl Forest Embroidery aren't they in Russia? It's a free pattern and it's like a sampler. I can put up a picture here to show those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start that. That is a piece that I want to stitch. I want to get it stitched for my daughter who loves Alice in Wonderland. Her name is Allison. I call her Alice because that is my grandmother's name. And so I don't mind if it takes me years and years to do it, as long as I'm progressing on it a little bit each month. And there's just little motifs everywhere that, hey, if I stitch a shoe, or if I stitch a little bottle that says eat me, or, something, then that's a little tiny finish, right? So I'm going to be starting that. I don't know exactly when, but sometime next month I'm going to be starting it. So the acrostic for April is shelves. So for the S, I will continue to work on seahorse. For the H, I will continue to work on howling. For the E, I will continue to work on Eastern Beauty. For the L, I will work on my cliffside tiles. For the V, it will be Valley of the Trolls. For E, it will be European Town. And for the S, it will be Double Dutch Sampler. So the other two patterns that I will be working on that are not included are, of course, my Peacock Band Sampler, because I want to get that finished, and of course my 101 alphabet, which I try to work on every Sunday. So those are the plans that I have for April. Next, we are going to discuss my blast from the past. Let me just get it for you.
Okay, so this is Belle. She is from Pinky the Pink. I started stitching her in July 1st. No, wait, sorry, wrong one. June 28th, 2016 is when I started her. And I finished her in November 24th, 2017. I'm going to get up close. There's beads there. There's back stitching. Her skin is stitched over one. Let me get nice and close. So most of her is stitched. See all that back stitching? Her skin is stitched over one. There is her dress. So much back stitching. This was I would say this is probably one of the most difficult pieces that I have ever stitched. So much so that I won't stitch another Pinky the Pink design again. As beautiful as they are, look at all that beading work. And all that skin over one. Here is her rose. The leaves are stitched over one. I did the leaves over one. And here's down her dress, all of this back stitching. Crazy, huh? Well, I'm just having my memories of stitching on this. Right now it's just hanging on my wall with tacks. I unfortunately can't afford to get all my pieces that I've finished framed, but she is on the list to be framed. I would like to get one piece. I think I can afford one piece a year. So she is on the list to be framed. But it's very expensive, and I just don't have the finances to frame every
everything that I stitch. And so some things don't get framed, in all honesty. I just stitch them to stitch them. But this one I do think deserves to be framed. It's just affording the framing because she is quite long. And so it would be expensive. The fabric is Murano Amaranthine from Chromatic Alchemy. It is on a 32 count. I probably butchered that name, but that is my blast from the past. From 2017 is when I finished her. I'm very proud of her because she was just so incredibly difficult to stitch with all the back stitching. And of course my choice of stitching the skin over one, but that's just my preference. So guys, that is it for me for this time around. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet or if you're new here. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. Please leave a comment. Please like and leave a comment because I enjoy talking with you guys. If you have any questions or anything, please put them down below or any comments. Let's talk. Let's be friends. I will see you guys next month. I hope you have a great April. Have a great Easter. I don't know how many of you get a spring break. I work in education, so I get a spring break. But please take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Stay well. Be kind to yourself and others. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Happy stitching.